Good morning, class. My name is Dr. Bidemi Badmus, an e-tutor in charge of post 114, that is Citizen and the State. As the course connotes, this course is going to be very interesting because it's contained with our day-to-day activity as we are relating with the state and government. It's also going to give us the opportunity to know our right and the duty owed to the state and the government, because we can't talk of right without duty. They go pari passu. So to start with, we are going to look at the concept of citizenship and the state. So in a nutshell, you can say a citizen of a particular country is a human entity that enjoy legal status and fundamental right within a given geopolitical territory. In the sense that such a person must have either been given birth into that particular country, or maybe has gone through naturalization process, or he has married to citizen of a particular. There are different processes in which one can actually legally become a citizen of another country if you are not being given birth there. So in the other way, when you are talking about state, you are actually talking about a given territory that enjoy supremacy without foreign intervention within its given territorial jurisdiction, so which is controlled by government and its apparatus. So we are going to be looking at means of acquiring citizenship, the benefit of citizenship. We're also going to talk about difference between an alien and citizen, condition under which an alien can become a citizen of another country. They talk about duties of citizen to his country or our country. Also talk about right of citizenship. Then we talk about factor that can guarantee citizenship right. All these things are key to the understanding of this particular course. Then we move to discuss means of acquiring citizenship. That is, if you have not been given birth into that particular country, there are ways in which you can become citizen of your desired country. If it's either you are giving birth there, it's not necessarily whether your parents, your father or your mother were citizen of that country. If you are giving birth there, in many cases or in most cases, it gives you the right to be able to apply for the citizenship of that particular country. Then naturalization process is a self-born desire of a particular person willing to become a citizen of another country, in which it's either you are residing there and you fulfill all the legal requirements that can qualify you to apply for citizenship of that particular country. Some country will say you have to reside for a minimum period of 5 years. Some will say 10 years. And it's not just living for that duration of period. You must also be found good in your behavior and interaction with the state and the people. You must be law abiding and respect the rules and order of that particular country before your application can be considered. You can also talk about citizenship by marriage. You can acquire citizenship by marriage. Simply married to person of your desired country in which you intend to secure a citizenship. For instance, a Nigerian woman willing to become an American citizen can get married to a male American citizen So if you are able to getting your marriage through legal processes, then after a stipulated period of time, you can as well apply for permanent residency, because there's a procedure. After permanent residency, they must have judged your marriage to be a non-fraudulent and peaceful before you are given a full citizenship passport. You can also talk about citizenship by honorary. Honorary, you are not necessarily being the one to apply for citizenship of that particular country, but the good work, your good deed, in terms of your contribution to development and growth of that particular country being recognized by the authority, might actually fetch you the citizenship of that particular country. There are some individuals who have invested so hugely in another country by creating employment opportunity and also contributing to research development and the like. The government of the so-called country can recognize their contribution to the development of their country, and so by doing invite them to come and take up citizenship of their country. So in that way, you are being honored with that citizenship right. Though it's not so common, but it's also being practiced. Then we talk about the benefit of citizenship. As a citizen of a particular country, you have some inalienable right or benefit which your citizenship will automatically given to you. And one of these key benefits is the political right. Political right. This simply telling us that a citizen of a particular country can stand to be voted for. It can also be voted. It can be voted and be voted for. You can aspire to be to occupy any political office positions in your country, be it president, governor, senator, house of rep, and so on and so forth. That citizenship will give you that benefit. Then we also talk about civil right. Civil right. You know, right to association, right to peaceful protest, and so on and so forth. It is only when you are a citizen of that particular country that you can enjoy those benefits. Otherwise, you can be tagged as a coup plotter or someone that is distorting the peace of that particular country. Then you also have economic right. The economic right is tricky in the sense that many people assume that once you have money and you are willing to invest, you can actually invest in any sector of a particular country you find yourself. That is not true. It is only a citizen of a particular country that are given some privilege to invest in some core area of the economic life of that particular country. In many countries of the world, no matter how rich you may be, there are some certain economic aspect in which you will be prevented from investing your money or your resources into, because those areas are reserved totally for the benefit of the citizen of that particular country. You can also talk about a right of permanent place of abode. What do I mean by this? When you hear right of permanent to a permanent place of abode, it means whether you are poor or you are rich, you have the right to reside in that particular country, and wherever you choose to live. You may be from Kano and you started to reside in Lagos, provided you are not considering nuisance. Although in Nigerian case, reverse is the case. The only thing they will talk about is your right to permanent place of abode and to reside anywhere you choose within that given country. They won't talk about other criteria that warrant your stay in wherever you choose. Or part of the criteria that can guarantee your permanent place of abode is you respect the other people's right, respect the rule of law, live peacefully within your host community, and so on and so forth. And in Nigeria, that is not always so. All right, or we can say fundamental human right. And there is something about fundamental human right that make it more extensive and elaborate, because fundamental human right is not exclusive to citizenship of a country alone. Aliens also have they enjoy fundamental human right. This is telling us that so far you are a human being, there are certain inalienable rights that cannot be taken away from you, whether you are an alien or a full-breasted citizen of that particular country. And some of these rights are right to life, right to property, freedom of movement, and so on and so forth. Right to life, to private property, right to family, and so on and so forth. So this is not only peculiar to citizens of a particular country. It cuts across both citizens and alien citizens. Right to certain occupations. Right to certain occupations. There are some categories of occupation that are reserved primarily for citizens of that particular country, like military, police. Let me just say defense job or security job entirely. Ideally, those jobs are reserved or exclusively reserved for the citizens of that particular country. But when it comes to Africa, particularly Nigeria, you realize that our military sectors and police and other security apparatus are being infiltrated by foreign nationals, to the extent that you will see generals that are working in Nigerian security apparatus that belong or that owns his allegiance to other country aside Nigeria, due to the porosity of our border and other factors like religions and ethnicity and so on and so forth. So, but ideally, certain jobs are reserved: intelligent job, security job, and the core economic aspect of a country. They are reserved primarily for the citizens of that particular country. Then we talk about condition. Okay, let's talk about difference between an alien and citizens. Don't forget, we have earlier listed the attributes of a citizen. Everything that citizens enjoy are the other way around when it comes to an alien. Alien don't enjoy all those rights we've listed earlier. So invariably, when you are talking about citizenship, alien is the reverse side. Alien has no right has no political right, has no civil right, has no right to some key economic sector of the country. He has no right to permanent place of abode, and they also have no right to certain occupation within that particular country. So what we are saying is, when you are talking about an alien is a personality or a person either residing temporarily or residing illegally in another country which is not his country of origin. And by doing so, he is not meant to enjoy certain right, which is automatically meant for the citizen of that particular country. We also talk about conditions under which an alien can become a citizen of another country. Initially we listed different ways under which one can acquire citizenship. We talk about citizenship by marriage, citizenship by birth, naturalization, honorary right, political, citizenship by birth, naturalization, marriage, honorary. And their condition is not just for you to say I'm being given birth in that particular country, so that automatically qualify me to become a citizen of that particular country. Anyway, before I move to that particular aspect, there are certain things I want you to know when we are trying to make differentiate between citizenship and this an alien. You know, an alien does not hold any allegiance to the country where he finds himself, because that is not his country of origin. You know what we mean by allegiance? Your loyalty, unflinching loyalty to respect the symbol and national integrity of that particular country, to protect it for external aggression, and to also report any sign of security risk to appropriate authority that you know it can jeopardize the peaceful coexistence within that particular country. An alien doesn't have that kind of allegiance. And also an alien, they are not legal member in that particular country. That does not mean an alien is an illegal person in that particular country. When you don't have a legal status or legal membership of that particular country, different from being an illegal visitor. The fact that you are being issued a visitor visa or business visa to visit a particular country, within that stipulated period of time, you are legally staying there. You have the right to stay there under international law. But where your right stop is when your visa lapses. If your visa stated that you are to spend 3 months, and a day after that 3 months make you to be illegal resident in that particular country, which can spell a negative consequence for you or whatever you are doing there. So, condition under which an alien can become citizens. Initially, we've stated the means of acquiring citizenship, and some will have it in mind that automatically going through these means will afford you the opportunity to become a citizen of that particular country. That is very, very wrong. There are conditions in which you must fulfill. The mere fact that you are being given birth to in a particular country doesn't automatically guarantee or qualify you to be a citizen of that particular country. Some country might specify that you must be in that country from the first day of your birth till maybe the next 3, 4, 5 years before you can apply for citizenship. Why? Some would say the fact that the country have stated that you must spend 10 years before you can apply for citizenship. Staying for 10 years means you are not going to be allowed to move in and out, so the government can monitor your activity for that period. Some country will say 5 years, some will say 10 years, depending on the country involved. But that is not automatic. You must be a peace-loving person in that particular country, obeying all lawful order, and be cooperating with the authority. And if you look at the citizenship by marriage, the fact that Ghanaian man married to an American female or woman doesn't automatically guarantee his citizenship. The marriage must be subjected to scrutiny to be sure that it's not fraudulently organized. They might, in most cases, they will say they ought to have lived for a period of 5 years together peacefully without any blemishes of one exploiting the other, or other situation that is not suitable for couple. It is after all these requirements have been fulfilled that the authority of that country can give you or grant you your citizenship by marriage. And when you are talking about honorary citizenship, the fact that you are a rich man living in another country is not automatically qualify you to be honored with citizen of their country. The fact that you establish a company in another country doesn't automatically qualify you to become a citizen of another country. They must have seen your contributions to development, both social and economic development of their country genuinely, and also contributing to peaceful coexistence in that particular place you find yourself over a period of time before you can be called upon to come and receive citizenship by honorary. And that is if the government of that particular country is willing to do so. It's not also automatic. Similarly, for you to be able to meet the conditions set for an alien to become a citizen of another country, you must be of a good character. Fine, you might say, after all, I married to citizen of another country, so the government should consider me as their citizen. You may say, okay, I've lived up to certain number of years which qualify me to apply for citizen of that particular country. That could be right, but the authority of that particular country also want to see into your character, the conduct, whether you are not fraudulent, whether you have not been charged for any misconduct or the other, and so on and so forth, before your application can be considered. Then we move on to duty of citizen to his country. As a citizen, though you have certain right to political, civil, permanent place of abode, and so on and so forth, but you also have to pay back, give back to the country. And that is why a citizen of a country must be able to pay his or her tax regularly. You must own allegiance to that country. You must be loyal. Your loyalty must be unflinching. You must also respect the rule of law. You as a citizen must respect all the national symbol and national integrity. Not the time that you hear them singing national anthem, that's when you be eating buns and donuts. You must stand and stay wherever you are at that particular time to observe the national anthem as a sign of showing respect to your country. You must also be ready to serve when you are called upon during war as an adult citizen, whether male or female. So a lot of duty which you need to perform. You must also be ready and be willing to cooperate with security agency by reporting any security threat that you observe to the appropriate authority. Although in Nigeria you have to do that with care and with utmost caution, so you won't end up in deep trouble. So we are also going to talk about right of citizens. Right. So most of these rights are being uh, harnessed under the umbrella of fundamental human rights. As a citizen of a particular country, you have right to life. Your life is sacred. It cannot be unilaterally taken away from you under no condition, except by a court of law. If the person is found guilty, has been sentenced to death. You also have right to private property and family. No matter your occupations, whether you are working at the high level of security intelligence, you must not be denied, if you so wish to have your family. You must not be denied private property. Then freedom of movement. Nobody can prevent you from movement, either from one place to another, except during emergency situation or during war, where they may place some restriction in terms of curfew and other, in order to protect life of people and their properties. You also have freedom of speech, because it's in the constitution. It's a constitutional human right. It's a constitutional right for people to be able to express themselves. Although there is a limit to freedom of expressions, whenever you are expressing yourself, you must also be cautious by not infringing on other people's right. You can't claim you can't lay a claim to freedom of expression by defaming other people's character, or by tarnishing other people's images. In doing so, you can be sued to the court of law, in which appropriate penalty will be applied. Then you also have right to vote and be voted for. You have that right to be voted. We also have freedom of press. Freedom of press. Wherever press has been suppressed, then the human dignity is in danger, because press is like mouthpiece of common man. They bridge the gap in terms of communication between people, citizens, and the government. What government cannot say, press can voice the opinion of people to the government in order to shape their policy, either on education, on economy, on religion, and so on and so forth, on security. So all these fundamental human rights must be guaranteed. Then we also talk about I think that should be the last, this particular lecture, condition under which citizen right can be guaranteed. It is easier said than done when you say you have right to life, right to political freedom, right to civil freedom, right to this and right to that. If certain conditions are not in place, it might be difficult for citizens to enjoy those rights that we mentioned earlier. One of the most critical conditions under which citizen right can be guaranteed is supremacy of the Constitution. And Constitution can only be supreme under democratic rule, because democratic tenets give freedom to the supremacy of the Constitution. Under military coup or any form of government that is different from democracy, the human right or citizen right cannot be guaranteed. Because, for instance, if you take military rule as an example, they don't use constitutions, they rather use decree, which is written by one man, assisted by few others, to suit their particular style of government. So supremacy of the constitution is key. Supremacy of the constitution is very key. Then we also talk about equality before the law. Before citizen right can be guaranteed, every citizen must be made to be equal before the law, irrespective of your status. Whether you are rich or you are poor, whether you are highly placed politically or you are the bottom of the you are the bottom in the ladder, irrespective of your status, everyone must be made to be equal before the law. It is through that the right of citizens can be guaranteed. The law must be equally applied. No animal shall be more equal than the other. So the law that is applied to Mr. A must be equally applied to Mr. B without any favoritism. Then we also talk about independence of judiciary. It is when the judiciary are not suppressed or coerced or forced to be relegated under the executive that you can talk of citizenship right being guaranteed, because the hope of common man or oppressed is judiciary. And that is why even the government itself can be sued, or it can sue and be sued. You can't say because I'm ordinary citizens and you know your right have been trampled upon by the government of your state, you have the right to take the government to court to prove your case, and government can be found guilty depending on the case, and appropriate compensation will be made, will be enforced to be paid by the government for infringing on your right. And that is only possible when there is independent judiciary that is not being cowed or coerced by the executive. So talk about separation of power. Separation of power, I think in your post 113 organization of government, you come across a separation of power, where the power of each organ or arms of government must be separated, clearly separated from the other, although they must be seen to be working harmoniously to move the country forward. At the same time, their functions or duty must be, and power must be distinctively separated. So the executive will not be performing the duty of judiciary, and judiciary will not be performing the duty of legislature, because each and every one of these organ of government have their role under which they enjoy certain power. So no other arm of government should be allowed to exert power over the other or take upon the responsibility of other to himself. It is when that one is guaranteed that citizen right can be protected and equally guaranteed. Freedom of press. Just like we said earlier, press must be free from undue intervention by the government, must be free from harassment and intimidation. It is when press are free to report anomaly of the government, that is when the citizen right can be protected and guaranteed. Enhanced democratic rule, that we are talking about consolidated democracy. It is when democracy is being consolidated that things has been done the way they ought to be done, that citizen votes are meant to be counted, that when you know your vote to be counted no matter what, under their enhanced democratic rule or consolidated democracy, that is also enhancing your own right as a citizen. It's also protecting your right as a citizen. But if democratic rule is not enhanced or is poorly managed, where people's vote can be easily hijacked or taken away, it means indirectly that their right will also be infringed upon or taken away from them. I will stop here, and I will encourage you, if you have any questions, comment, observation, please do not hesitate to get in touch. Before we meet again next week, have a wonderful day.